it looks like we're just going to go ahead and get started. To start everybody off, hello, my name is Brian. I'm from Talk IELTS. We just want to thank you again for coming in. We have a bunch of things that we're going to talk about. If you're not here on Facebook, I'm over on YouTube. We're everywhere, so you can get all this free information whenever you want it. Plus, when this is done, it'll be uploaded and there will be a worksheet and free videos and everything else after all of this, too. So, we're really excited and I'm excited to work with you guys here right now. If you're here on Facebook, you can share it and watch this with your friends. You can make fun of me, you can ask questions, you can have a good time. We're here to learn and have an environment for everybody to learn together. During this as well, feel free to comment, feel free to talk to me about anything that's on your mind. We're going to just kind of go through everything, and if something is interesting, something comes up, new vocabulary words or words you just want to hear me say, if you want to tell me about your IELTS examination, what was your speaking topics, if you just have questions about the exam itself, if you have the need for classes, free resources, I would love to give those to you guys as well. So today's topic is something that I like because I'm a little overweight. I could be in better shape and I could be more fit, but the topic today is going to be about food. And there's a couple words that I already used in there. Be more fit. We can also use, what else did I use? Overweight. Okay. So these are some words that we can use in more phrases. To be more fit. This just means to get into shape, which is another phrase of just to be, healthy. Everybody's healthy in their own ways. We can talk more about that as well, but people usually use BMI as the term, which stands for body mass index. This takes, not body, the body. So with the body mass index, this is your BMI. It's based on your height, it's based on your weight and your age. With those things calculated, then you get an idea of how much you should be weighing. Because this takes it, but it does not take in consideration muscle, because muscle weighs more than fat. So good to know, right? Okay. So we'll do a few more vocabulary words. Nothing too crazy, just things that we should know. But the vocabulary tip that I have, vocabulary tip for part 1 through 3, it's very simple. We want to remove the word very. Right? We want to get rid of this word. Right? Oh man, I'm very tired. Oh, I'm very hungry. Oh, I'm very excited. Okay. It is an okay word to use to describe how you feel if you can't think of the right word, but we have so many words in the English language that we can just try something else. So let's get you above 4.5. Let's get you to 5.5, 6.5, 7, 7.5. And the way to do that is just to take a regular word and find some, use a thesaurus. A thesaurus is basically a dictionary to tell you what other words sound like it or like it. So find a word that you use all the time and you want to stop using very. So for example, we use the word for food. We always say, oh, it's very delicious, right? It's very delicious all the time. Oh, how was it? Oh, it was delicious. Oh, it was so good. All right. Some people use the word yummy. Don't use this word. All right. It's not that it's a bad word, but it's a bad word for IELTS. It's a kid's word. When you're a little kid, you say, "Oh, it's very yummy. Oh, so yummy." Right? Now, where we're adults, you're taking an adult test. Your thing is what you want to use some large and better academic words. So, for example, instead of delicious, is there any better words that you guys know of? Just go ahead and put them down in the comments. If they are, my ticker is not working. Give me 1 second. But if you have your, if you have the um, comments or anything, feel free to put them in. And what happens is that I can put them on here, and you guys can be um, notified and be able to see what's going on there. Okay, great. Let's continue on with our lives. Okay, so what are the words instead of delicious that we have? We have appetizing. Appetizing. Ooh, it's very appetizing. Ooh, it was appetizing. It's delicious. Ooh, one of my favorites right here. Delectable. If I can spell. Delectable. Oh, another good word instead of very delicious. It was delectable. Um, when we talk about chocolate, it's usually something, or talk about a sugary drink or sugary food. We usually can also use the word decadent. Right? Yeah. Okay. With decadent usually means rich in flavor, usually for fat or sugar. So when you have something like dark chocolate, ooh, it's very decadent. It's very over the top. It's very sugary. It's very rich in flavor. Let's think about maybe one or two more. Ooh, heavenly. Oh, did you have the dinner over there? Oh, it was so heavenly last night what you made. It's amazing. Heavenly is a great one to have as well. And one last one. Let's see what we can come up with. Let's go ahead and use the word bang on or spot on. This is a UK phrase. All right? The reason I'm teaching you a UK phrase, not just the United States, is that the IELTS is a UK-based, Cambridge-based test. So they do prefer that you use um, British words and British phrases. It's not to say that they don't allow you to use American idioms or phrases. It's just that they're more used to hearing the UK version of them. Um, if they're not saying one's better than the other at all. But in this case, what I would do is that I would, if I was going to use any words, I would use what I'm most comfortable with. And if they are British, then I would use the British version. Not with a British accent. I would not change my voice because I'm very bad at accents. Yeah, yeah. Some of you guys had me before. Yes, very bad at accents. And um, but if you feel comfortable using something like bang on or spot on, this just means it means perfect. So the dinner was perfect. The dinner was bang on. The dinner was spot on. You can even talk about something specifically about the plate or the food itself, how it was cooked, how it was seasoned. So these are ways that we can get on there. And then one last one that we use a lot is stuffed. Right? And basically, stuffed just means full. I mean, you're very full, or you cannot eat anymore. Okay. So the reason I'm also writing all these down is that we will make a list of this information as well. It will become a worksheet that you can watch again when we upload this onto YouTube and onto Facebook, so that if you want to practice listening, if you want to practice your pronunciation, you can either A, watch this again and practice. The other option is that you can use our application, so you can practice IELTS speaking at any time and get instant feedback on what your level is approximately being, and it will tell you specifically what to work on, your pronunciation, vocabulary, and level of vocabulary. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with a couple part one questions. Part one questions, and these are as new as 2020 and 2021. All right. The first question is, do you eat healthy food? All right. Tip alert. Usually, the first question in the first part of speaking is a general and broad question. All right. So this means, what does this mean for you guys? Basically, what this means is that they're looking for more detail than what they're leading on. If you think about it, what they're trying to do is that part one, part two, part three, for all different sections in the test, start off relatively easy. Think of like a game that you got on your phone. You have to connect the dots or something, right? So the first one is very easy. You connect them and they go, "Yay, good job! You finished. You did the first level really quickly." Right? That's kind of what they're trying to do here. And then it gets more and more difficult as it progresses. However, now knowing that they know this, part one, this question, even though it seems really simple, do you eat healthy food? You're going to answer it, of course, or yes, or no, or sometimes. With a do question, use yes, no, or maybe. Um, so they kind of lull you into a false sense of security. They think, oh, if they answer this very easily, then they're not giving me enough information. That's what they're thinking. So a tip is go a little bit overboard with your vocabulary for the first one, or give a little bit extra information that you're not sure that you're supposed to, but you do anyways, right? So do you eat healthy food? So when we have a do question, we have three options. One is yes, two is no, three is maybe, right? Do you like it? Yes. Do you like it? No. Do you like it? Sometimes, which is maybe. Okay. All right. So do you eat healthy food? Hmm. Yeah, but not always. Sometimes I like to have a cheat day once a week where I can basically pig out on anything that I like. Ooh. So we have a couple phrases in there that are kind of new or kind of maybe you didn't know before, right? So we have something called, cheat day. All right. What's a cheat day? It's basically a day in which you cheat on your diet. So this means if you're not supposed to eat pizza, you eat pizza. If you're not supposed to, eat sugary food or have a Coke or have a soda, that's when you do it. You go and you have your cheat day. You allow yourself to have those things so that you feel comfortable and you're able to go ahead and keep continuing forward. The other word that we used was pig out. Right? So what do pigs do? Well, pigs, they eat a lot. So when you pig out, this means that you eat a lot. All right? Okay. Uh, Eat a lot, and it's usually in one sitting. Right? It's not something you do very often. Maybe it could be something you do very often, but overall, you don't want to be pigging out every day. Usually, like at a buffet, I like to pig out. I have because there's so many options. I like to try everything and taste everything, even if it's not healthy. It is worth trying out. Okay. Um, what's another easy question for part one? For another part one question, we're looking at what food do you like? Right? Again, another simple, deceivingly simple question. So, how do you answer something like this? What food do I like? Well, hmm, when you then we get back into this thing that we discussed at the very beginning. Like, like is a very simple word. So maybe there's some different words that we can use instead of like. We can use things like I love something, I adore something, I am fond of, tend to, I what else do I do? I prefer, prefer. Right? So what kind of food do you like? We can change these words in and out however we like. So um, I love, I love Vietnamese food, or I adore these little cakes from the coffee shop that I go to. I am fond of Indian cuisine. I tend to be drawn to having a dessert at the end of the day, or I tend to go towards more bitter foods. I prefer to have Japanese food over Lithuanian food. So, what food do you like? So, this could be a ton of different things. It could mean cuisine. What cuisine do you like? What specific food do you like? And if you want to go into your higher level, 6.57, you can talk more about the agricultural aspect. You know, you talk about, I really like, um, I really like food that is, so for example, we're talking about beef, right? I like grass-fed organic beef. Right? I prefer things that have been decontaminized and only on a self-sustaining garden. You know, um, so you can start talking more about how specific what kind of food that you look for. I look for something that has it's gluten-free. I things that you know things like of that nature. And then what's the opposite? I dislike. I dislike. Oops, I can spell. I dislike. I can't stand. I'm allergic. I have. I veer away from. Um, and people who are like this, are just people. We call them picky eaters. It's a picky eater. All right. So these are some other words that we can use instead of, oh, I really don't like it. Right? We're looking to get you above don't like. I want you high up there. Um, I want you being 6.5, 7.5, speaking. And you can't get there by just saying, oh, I like it. We want you to be we want you to be an excellent speaker overall. That's really what it comes down to. Okay, let's do one more for part one so we can add in a few new vocabulary words. Um, and let's go ahead and do, okay, part one question again. We're going to do you cook? Very simple question, right? Do you cook? Hmm, do. How do we answer do? Hmm. Yep, that's right. Do I like it? Do I do this? Yes, no, maybe. All right. So for yes, what can we say for yes? Do you cook? Yeah, yeah, I do. Or sure, sometimes. All right. Okay. You can say, do you cook? Yeah, I love to cook. I cook, you know. I whip up I whip up uh, a family dinner at least 3 times a week. Um, I prefer to order out because I am not a talented I am not a talented cook. Right? Means I when I do want or when I tend to cook, I usually follow a recipe. Usually follow a recipe. Right? I am not adventurous when I cook. And then one more, I would say for me personally, do you cook? Oh, I adore cooking. I think it is a is a great way to um, come up with new and exciting ideas, or just be able, or just be able to have exactly what I am feeling I want to eat at that time. Yeah. All right. So we have a bunch of different things right here. We have, about you know, four model answers. And that's the thing about model answers too. So, another one, a little tip alert. Tip alert. All right. Little tip alert. All right. Model answers are not always right. Do not copy them. Okay. So even though I'm giving you guys these model answers, don't copy mine exactly. Um, with there are IELTS people that I've talked to and that I've read about, and when I administer the IELTS test as well, you can tell when somebody's memorized an answer. Uh, it's not just because of the one question that they answer, but it could also because of the questions that they didn't answer before. So, for example, if you give a very broad answer for the first one, let's see here, what do we say? Like, do you eat healthy food? Yeah, I like to eat healthy food. That's your answer. And then your second answer is something like very robotic. Oh, yes, I love to cook. I whip up a family dinner at least 3 times a week. We, as an evaluator, we can see that it's like you're acting. It's like you pretend that you are somebody else, and that we can tell that because it doesn't seem like your own actual words. So model answers aren't always right. They're not right for you because your answer is a little bit different than somebody else's. Um, so please just use the ideas that we give you, and please just know that you can use these phrases and these vocabulary words, but use them in your own way, and that's the best way of doing this. So, all right, so let's take a quick look to see if there's some things here. I whip up. Ooh, there you go. I whip up a family dinner. Ooh, whip up. Right? To whip something means to make it bigger. But basically, what this means is that you just create something out of nothing. So I'm gonna whip up a family dinner. Right? And also, family dinner. Simple. Right? A simple thing to explain what type of dinner it is as well. So we can use this term family dinner with your family, of course, but you can also use it with friends as well. We don't say a friend dinner. It's not very popular. It's not something we usually call it a family dinner, even if they're just friends. Okay. I prefer to order out. Right? Uh, you order out. The other one that people use is to take away. Those are other ones. I usually follow really adventurous. This is another good one to have. Um, when I do want or when I tend to cook, I usually follow recipe. Recipes, again, as you know, these are so a recipe. If you did not know, so a recipe is a list of instructions with on how to cook a dish. Right? They have ingredients, um, usually weights or measures, and step by step instructions. So you can use recipe. That's a very good one. Home recipe. You use a recipe that's been passed down from my grandma to my mom to me. So we call it a family recipe. Mhm. Finally, I adore cooking. Again, when these are words we want to use that are different than just I like to do something. I think this is a great way to come up with new ideas. All right, so these are just some simple ideas for you for part one. Let's do a quick vocabulary check. All right. So here are some vocabulary words that we can use or vocabulary phrases that we can use. Go on a diet. Um, Low carb. This is good. Strive and dabble. And let's see here. We can use vegetarian, and uh, balanced diet. And we'll just go into a diet a little bit more. Okay, to go. Oh, we're already talking about diet. Okay, to go on a diet. Okay, so what is a diet? So what people think that a diet is that, oh, eat less food. This could be wrong. All right. It could be that. It could be also restrictive diets, right? So it could be a restrictive diet where because you're allergic, to something. You have religious beliefs. You have what else? What other kind of diets are there? Um, you have just weight, weight and calories. So and then exercise. Exercise is part of your diet as well. Okay. Um, People have different types of diets, restrictive diets like this, because they have, allergies or they're out of weight or health. All these are reasons for people to go on a type of diet, right? So, but just keep that in mind, that a diet could be two different things. It could be a restrictive diet on what you're stopping from eating, but the other thing that it could be is that a diet overall is your day, your it's basically your day to day eating, eating, and activity. I cannot spell today. Sorry. So, so you can just be living a healthy lifestyle. This could also be kind of like your lifestyle, right? So, what is your diet? Well, my diet is a regimen of, getting up at this time and having this type of breakfast, and then at lunch I'd go and lift weights. And so, a diet does not specifically only mean food. So, this is something that you can use in your next speaking test. All right. Okay. Low carb. Well, carb is short for carbohydrate. Okay. So, what is a carbohydrate? Well, it's basically it's it's a complex usually, it's complex. But then and you find these in starches mostly. Starches. So starch foods like rice or bread slash wheat, you know. Um, Also they're related, but they're not the same as something called gluten. So these are some words again that we can start learning about. So low carb just means low amounts of low carb, low carbohydrate. Gluten. You're hearing more about, gluten free. And what other things that we have are, we have low fat now. We have no fat, or we call it zero fat, more fat free. All these terms that we use for different types of food now. We also have organic. We also have cage free. So you're able to use a lot of these vocabulary words just to talk about diet. So, so you can never say that you don't know enough words. We 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 have them in our mind. We just need to continuously draw them out somehow. So, okay, strive. Right. This is not technically just about food. If I want to do another one specifically for, I have a hankering or okay, but to strive for something, it just means that you mean to try. Try. So we use something like I strive to eat more health conscious. Let's use word earth conscious. Strive to eat more healthy. Okay, let's just make it easy because I can't spell conscious. All right, not right now. But basically, to try to eat more healthy, healthily. These are all different ways of saying the same thing. All right, because it's good for the planet. Right. To dabble, this is a fantastic one to use. To dabble, this just basically means to try every once in a while, right? So something that you can dabble in is cooking. Like you don't do it every day, but you like to try it. You know, I'm gonna try it again on Friday. I'm gonna try it again on Saturday, but usually maybe one or two times. I like to dabble with the guitar. Am I good? No, but I like to play. I like to dabble in it. People dabble in art. There's all different things that you can do. Okay, a couple more. Vegetarian, simply put, is to only eat vegetables. Usually no byproduct. Ah, no meat byproduct. Okay. So again, another word that we have right here, byproduct, not byproduct, wrong one, byproduct. Okay, all right, okay, byproduct. It means the secondary part of the process. So, for example, milk comes from a cow, right? So usually vegetarians don't like to have that. But cheese comes from milk, which comes from a cow. So if you're vegetarian, this is a gray area, but this could be okay. Um, but for somebody who is a vegan, this is to only eat plant-based materials. All right? Nothing. All right? This means, no animal byproducts. Okay. So just so you know, somebody comes in there. There's all different types of other types of diets, right? A vegan diet, vegetarian diet, pescatarian diet. Then there's different types of diet plans, like the keto plan, which is ketosis, South Beach diet, which is very similar. There's a bunch out there. So you'll never, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you can research and learn more about. A balanced diet, as we discussed, is pretty simple, is, have something there and then a hankering. Now, the time that we've all really kind of been waiting for, actually, is for part two questions slash cue cards. Actual cue cards used in 2021. All right. Okay, so here is a part two question cue card. These ones have actually been used in 2021. 2020 or 2021? All right, 21. Sorry, just want to double check. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and we will choose one right here. Here we go. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and review this together. You can come back later and practice again. You can also go to our website, get talkie. What is it again? I forgot. WordPress? Yeah, wordpress.com/demo. Okay. If you go there directly, you're able to test out your speaking. This topic right now is for traveling. So all you would do is you would go ahead and go through here and you would go and try out the demo. Okay? It will take you to a Google form where you can upload your answers, and our application will take your vocabulary, it will take your pronunciation, and it will take your grammar, and it will take a few other things in consideration, and it will give you a estimated band score for that question. However, it's not for every question as a whole because As you know, part 1 is not the same as part 2 and 3. So therefore, we cannot give you a full. But if you do want to take some practice tests, please leave us some comments, send me some emails, and I will try and make those available for you in our resource list. And in our resource list, you will see a bunch of these things that we've already been talking about. Speaking tips, the IELTS indicator, and how scores are calculated. There is a bunch of information here, so please go there and take advantage of that. Okay. All right, so to go ahead and start, describe a meal you have had. You should say where you had it, who you had it with, what you ate, and explain why it was special to you. All right, so let's get into tip alert. Yes, another tip. Yeah, another tip for you guys. All right, so there are two ways, well, there's multiple ways to approach this. Um, I am going to give you I'm going to give you one tip for this part, and then I will briefly talk about another one. The first one that I'm going to talk about is my own, and this is a very simple way of doing this. All it is writing down this simple thing: 5W, 1H, who, what, where, when, how. You know, the reason for this is that mostly all of your answers need to come from a place of question. They've already prepared you by giving you who, what, where, and why. Okay, so all we're missing now is a few other questions and questions within the question. So, for example, where you had it. Right? So we have where you had it. Right? Now act like a 5-year-old. Right? Where did I have it? Oh, why did I have it there? When did I have it there? You know, who were you with? You know, so be a 5-year-old to yourself. All right, okay. And then you can also go like, oh, and actually here you go. You know, so we already got rid of this one. Who? You know, who you had it. You know, and then you can have what you ate. Why did you choose that? You know, what did other people get? You know, what did other people get? All right. And then ultimately, why it was special for you. That's the one that I want to get to. All right. Why it was special for you. The reason that is because you're going to describe a meal you've had and explain why it was special to you. So what you do is you take the very first sentence here and the last one here. And usually, not always, because, those IL people, they're kind of smart. They catch on to us helping you guys out. But usually you can take the first and last and just read those parts. And you'll be able to answer the rest of this, right? So if I was going to describe a meal I had, I would probably tell you what I ate, right? I'm going to tell you who I had it with. I'm going to tell you where I had it. But did I describe the meal to you? Did I describe why it was special? No. All right. Those are the most important parts of this for you to get a higher score, right? Where you had it and who you had it with could be part of why it was special. The meal might not be the food itself. It might have been with the people that you were with. All right. So, some words that we can use for these, something that's memorable. All right. We can something that's memorable. Uh, we can discuss about how the food was cooked, what the food represents. We have a lot of stuff that we can be working on how we can answer this question. So what I'm going to do though is I am going to read a answer, and what I want you guys to do is you're just going to listen. You can ask questions as well, or if you want me to repeat it or specific words, that's fine. Or if you don't know any words, please write them down for me, and I'll get to them, of course, for you. But I'm going to read you one. It's not my answer. This is a model answer that I found online, and we're going to see how you guys think they would have scored. So the question is, here you go. Describe a meal that you've had. Here we go. One of the most memorable meals that I have ever eaten was a couple years ago when I was sick. Well, actually, just recovered from sickness. I had digestive disorder, so I could not eat anything but bland porridge for a week. Otherwise, I would have vomited constantly. The first couple of days staying at home went just fine. I had enough to entertain me. In fact, I felt relaxed because I had time to binge watch my favorite drama. However, by the end of that week, I could not stand that meal. I could not even think about it. Fortunately, I was getting better, so I could eat other dishes. My mother made me spaghetti with beef and mushroom, which she knew was my favorite. It was a basic Italian dish that instantly made my mood improve. It did not take much time and energy to cook through. Basically, there were ground beef, sliced fresh mushroom, chopped garlic, and onions served with a tomato sauce and topped with Parmesan cheese. It tasted like heaven to me. The ground beef was savory, mixed with a little cheesy flavor. My mom's homemade meal was not only appetizing, but also nutritious because I was not consuming protein and fat for a whole week. My mom and dad ate it too, but I know they did not enjoy it as much as I did. I tucked into it and even craved for more. This was a memorable meal thanks to the caring and loving of my mother and her eagerness to lift my spirits while I was trapped in my house. So, overall, it's not terrible, what this person wrote. By just reading it, I can tell that this person a second is a ESL person. And there are just some telltale signs from this, right? The the using the wrong terms, using the wrong vocabulary. It's not that the vocabulary was wrong, but using it was very awkward. Also, there was some missing things. So very at the beginning, it says, I have a digestive disorder, so I could not eat anything. Um, this is, let's go ahead and I'll write it right here. I had a digestive, so I could not eat anything. Alright. This is not, this is a very awkward phrase. Um, yes, it is technically not wrong, but we would probably say something, we'd probably not use the word disorder. A disorder usually is something that's ongoing. Um, this seems like it was just a sickness, so we could use something, we can use a different type of something like that. All right. I could not stand that meal. This is another fairly not used turn of phrase. I could not stand that meal. It is true. People could say like, "Oh, I couldn't stand it," right? But again, this is a phrase that we probably wouldn't want to use. However, there are some good words in here. Right? Words like savory or savory. We can use nutritious, which is another great word. All right. And let's see, is there anything else that was really nice in there? Eagerness. That's another good word. Okay. So these are all pretty fantastic words that they were using, but overall, there could have been a better way of um, making the listener, you guys, be more interested. So how do we make people more interested in your writing or in your listening and your speaking? How can we get people more interested? Um, it's very simple. What you want to do is you want to use colorful words. And that brings us all the way back to the very beginning of this. Right? We want to remove the word very, right? Yes. So very, of course, is okay to use when you're learning a new language. Right? For us in Vietnam, it's using, people use this, right? And it goes up like wa, right? This means very. Um, and then we use that a lot. Um, but in English, we also have additional words, not just to change the first word. Um, so again, to become a better speaker, for you to get better scores, the word very should be removed and come up with some better words for that, right? Like we did, appetizing, delectable, decadent, heavenly. All right. So feel free to take this tip and just keep looking for new things. Um, Before we go, we have just a little bit of time left. The thing that I'd be looking for as well, one last tip, because we didn't get to part 3, so maybe next time we'll do another. We're gonna do another one of these. I'm gonna probably change it to just be maybe 30 minutes of part 1 questions of 2021, so that everybody can come in and have some questions and really get into that. Okay. But an overall tip before we go is, and you can learn more about this. I have about top 5 tips that you can help you get to the next level, but is to be an active listener. Okay, this is my last tip for you guys for today. The tip is to be an active listener. What does this mean? Does this just mean, sit there and listen? Kind of. So, to be an active listener is that, we can see right here, right, some speaking tips, is that you want to be able to engage the speaker. All right? We want to engage the speaker by using verbal and nonverbal communication. So when you're getting these questions, for example, like let's do question 1 again. Right? Do you enjoy cook? Do you cook? Oh yeah. Okay. You want to be active listener, nodding your head, right? Or maybe even shaking your head no. Like, do you cook? No, I don't. It's not something that I particularly like to do. Sometimes when I'm forced to do it, I will whip up a little instant noodle packet and then maybe throw in some vegetables. Um, be active. You if you're just gonna sit there and be as stiff as a board, you can still speak clearly and be correct and still get a 7.0, 7.5, even 8. You know, but when you're an active listener, it gives you a chance to actually understand what somebody's saying. It gives you the chance to take your time and collect your thoughts so that when you do answer, it's very direct. It's very eloquently said. So overall, my one of the big tips that I have for people is to be an active listener. There are about 5 more tips, and you can go through these. It's vocabulary, confidence, and some other ones, and some tips there, and some samples on how to use them and how not to use some certain things as well. So, that being said, we're gonna leave you there with that. Uh, Thank you so much, everybody, for being here at this time. All right, uh, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.